All right, we're back. It's The Average Christian. It's a little different. It's Clayton and Zack, of course, and the I keep saying project. Yeah, project. And the goal of this whole thing has always been to relate Christianity in a practical way. And so this is a little different because things are about to change here. And we're going to tell you more about that. We've been having some great conversations, which we probably should have filmed because there's some excitement about the changes coming. I've had a lot of people ask me recently because I'm moving from Banner Elk, moving closer to work to Elizabethton, which is going to cut my drive time down by 75% probably. And so that's where this started was I'm going to be moving. I've got a lot of things to do. Let's pull back from this a little bit. So not every time, a lot of times I've mentioned my moves. The question I've gotten is, you're still going to do your Average Christian podcast, right? I was like, well, yeah, but I never knew you were watching. So thank you. I want to say that first. Thank you to our subscribers, to our listeners, to everybody that supports, to our patrons who have helped us and sent money. And with that said, a couple of changes, maybe just some pulling back and redirecting. Is that the way to put it?
I would think so.
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
You're not gonna make me talk this whole thing out, right?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, you're the behind the scenes guy. So
yeah. I don't talk much.
But
yeah.
Well, let's explain to them why. Then it started with a conversation I had with you about moving, and then you had been watching something. It was that video by Trey, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He was actually referencing another video. And they were discussing these different pillars or foundations for their channel. And so I kind of shared that with you, and now it come along to say, okay, well, what are ours? What's the point?
Right.
Other than, we've got the focus of the channel, but what are we creating to fulfill that focus? And we kind of want to change that up a little bit.
Well, the creativity, when you use the word creative, it's like, well, we're not creating much of anything. It's just me talking to a camera, which is fine. It serves a purpose. But I was actually calling you to talk about pulling back for 6 months, however long, so that I could focus on some other stuff, free up an evening, because we've narrowed this down to about one evening a week on a Thursday, and we can come in and really crank out 4 to 6 videos pretty quickly, unless we're interviewing somebody and having the 2.0, which I guess that's what this will be on, is the 2.0 or labeled as.
Yeah.
So we had gotten it down to that, but then as we got to talking, we started realizing this is kind of stale now.
Yeah. If you come in here and crank out, certain channels can do that successfully, especially if you're either doing some type of instructional content or, certain things. But for us, I believe it had gotten stale.
Yep.
And we just kind of mindlessly crank it out. And I was mindlessly editing. I edit usually on Saturday mornings when I get up, I edit 2 videos for the next week within an hour, and I'm done.
Right.
It takes longer to upload them than it does to edit them. And I don't think that's doing it justice at all.
It's not what we set out to do.
No.
We were really, I hate to say on fire, that's what people, but we were really excited about making content.
Mm-hmm.
And it's morphed without going through the whole history of the channel and the podcast. It's morphed in different ways, but that's what we started out to do. For me, I got a little too, maybe a lot of too concerned with, are we making content that will be viewed more? Will we get more viewership? And you have the little YouTube studio app and check the viewers and how many views, and is this video doing good? And how should we title it? And that got to feel, for me, maybe not you, but for me, it got to feel like a set of chains I was putting on myself. Instead of thinking about having fun, well, just enjoying doing it and being invested in it, I was thinking more about subscribers and growth and stuff like that.
Yeah, I always thought about it too, right. And because that's in my mind is the more people that watch it, the more people that are getting Bible.
Right.
But it's one of those things that you're chasing something that's really, really hard to get with truth. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we might as well change it up and do something that we're enjoying more.
Yeah.
And then it should, with the formats we've talked about, I mean, it should do well, I believe. I think it'll do better than what we've been doing.
And hopefully that better will be to teach. Neither one of us have lost that overall goal. The idea is to share with other people and let them see in a little more to God, to Christianity, what it means. That's the whole practicality of living it out. We could just read Bible all day long, but then how do I use this and what do I do with it? But now moving into more of a storytelling, more of a draw you in type of thing, instead of just giving you facts, which I don't know. It's fresh in some ways because it's not a sermon. The videos we've done is what I mean. It's fresh in some ways because it's not a sermon, but at the same time, you're just pulling up a video of one guy talking for 5 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever the case is. That just gets old after 3 years, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've got our dedicated followers, but for the majority of people, yeah, I mean, I know that unless I'm invested in the person that's speaking, I wouldn't on a regular basis pull something like that up and watch it.
Exactly.
It's just a fact of life.
Yeah.
So I guess got to put the pride aside and say, okay, if I'm not going to pull it up and watch it, then why should I expect anybody else to?
Right.
So we got to change. We got to change something.
Well, it'd be fun too.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that. It's going to be fun. We're sitting around here brainstorming about storytelling, doing this sort of a documentary style. I think that's kind of what we're moving toward as far as at least this first trial. It's going to be some trial and error and some practice and it'll allow you to use more of your creativity with your technical side of things. How do we get this shot and so forth, and editing. It'd also be a whole different style for me, as far as cranking these videos out. And we're not a slave anymore to 2 videos a week. So you're not going to see as much for the listeners here and the viewers. You're not going to see as much come out because we're not beholden to, we're releasing content every Tuesday, every Thursday, yada, yada, yada. No, we're going to do it to our standards and what we like and what we want to put out, and then we'll release it.
Yeah, exactly. And we're going to bring you along. I mean,
right.
My plan is especially when we're shooting, is to set up a GoPro or something for some kind of behind the scenes or, cool. Just that kind of information to put out there in the meantime.
Okay, cool.
So that people know that we're actually working on something, and it'll kind of maybe pique some interest. I don't know.
I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
I'm hoping because we're excited about doing this,
and
it'd just be a different format. So we talked about, you mentioned the how did Trey put it? The different
the 3 pillars.
Yeah. Thank you. So we still are going to do the 2.0, meaning we're going to bring in probably somebody once or twice a month. We'll bring in somebody, sit across just like this, like we've done with Robbie Eversole and Todd Houston and others so far. So we'll still probably release. I don't know. I've been thinking once a month we'll release something like that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. It wouldn't be too much work at that point.
No,
right.
It's just a matter of taking the time to sit down and have the conversation. So you get that aspect. We've kicked around a couple of other ideas. You got the storytelling aspect, which is our main focus, the 2.0, and then we've kicked around a couple of other ideas, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned one about just picking a passage and reading it, and then maybe a little bit of commentary on it.
Yeah, kind of like a audio.
Yeah, audio book of some, reading the Bible. But so that may be a possibility, or just something real short,
right,
and punctual, or I don't know. If nothing else comes along, then
could just be
random.
Just
be 2.
Yeah,
or,
that's
random.
fine.
Yeah,
I'd rather have 2. I'm not reaching for the magical 3 or magical 4 pillars, and again, that's kind of, to me in my head, that's kind of that enslaved. We got to do this. We got to do that. No, Let's
Right.
do what we want to do, what we like, and what we think will be beneficial and helpful
Yeah.
to the people who come in contact with it, not something that's just spit out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
I think that'll be good. Be real good.
and
Yeah.
I wish, like I said, I wish we could have filmed that conversation and kind of brainstorming about what we're planning about doing or what we're planning on doing and thinking about. Some of it I really don't want to tell everybody because I'd kind of like to show them, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That we're going to do this, this, and this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've got a good start, and we've got a direction now that we're going to try to start digging into, and hopefully something will start to come along pretty soon.
Oh.
We'll see.
I'd like in some way, I guess, maybe I'm just brainstorming a little more. It'd be so cool if we could find some way to be interactive where we get more feedback. We haven't really focused on feedback other than saying, hey, tell us what you think, blah, 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 which most people aren't going to do.
Mm-mm.
Unless you do something controversial, then you get all kind of feedback. But it would be cool to see something interactive. And
Yeah, it really would. I do not know how to do that right off. I really don't. But it would be neat to let the audience kind of guide a lot of the content, even
yeah,
somehow.
yes.
Somehow, that would be really really neat.
Or just what are people interested in hearing
Mm-hmm.
and knowing about? What I don't even know any other way to say it besides that. No, but I like the idea. I hadn't thought about the. I mean, not until tonight, I hadn't thought about the BRoll stuff where you kind of give people behind the scenes, hey, we're working on something without giving it away what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, I think that'd be good, and allow people to see kind of behind the scenes of what we're
even
what
if
we're
it's
working on at the time.
social media release of like we were talking about the setup and the shot for like a documentary style. Hey, this is what our actual shot would be like. Just take a still photo and stick it up or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, one night when we come in here to talk about things or to work on something, we'll rearrange the studio and try to set that shot up and see what it looks like, and record the process of doing that, so that we can kind of put that out there. And then maybe even I was thinking a lot of the deleted scenes a lot of other behind the scenes work.
You're thinking of blooper reel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, blooper reel. We can put that on Patreon. So
when you said tentacle of the pimple instead of pinnacle of the temple,
yeah.
Here's when Zach messed up. Yeah, no, it's just a cool idea. I guess I hadn't really.
Yeah,
it was almost like you were telling me for the first time. Well, I'm thinking about doing BRoll. Cool.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
There was something else I was thinking of there. Now the storytelling thing. That's what I was thinking about. This change. Kind of forgetting about that stuff now and just talking to you instead. But this change up is kind of like changing. You rework, like when you preach, you rework and teaching class too. You don't always do it the same. You revamp it. Say, oh, let me try this way or this. And that's really what this is doing. Is just saying, let's try it a different way and see if we can get the point across instead of less in your face and more, let's take a journey.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
You know the difference. Have you ever heard of somebody preach a sermon that was kind of like taking a journey versus, I've got 3 points and then a poem. Shall we sing? So and thinking back to the Old Testament, well, not just the Old Testament, Acts is a lot like that too. It's not a whole lot of need to do this, this, and this, 5 ways to, execute X, Y, and Z. But it's, let me tell you this story. And then you look and go, oh, wow. So that's this concept and this concept born out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the goal anyway of this new format. Yeah.
So we're going to try documentary style first, right? Or maybe that parallel we were talking about.
Yeah. And I think to some extent, they'll all be sort of documentary. They're going to have voiceover, narration, and that kind of thing,
right?
To tell the story, and then a lot of different BRoll or as many different interesting shots as we can to try to illustrate what's being said, so that it really brings it to life.
Yeah, forgive me, I keep doing the preacher thing, but that's what makes a good sermon is illustration. Like I could get up and give you 50 scripture references, or I can get up and give you a scripture reference and then tell you either the story in the Bible behind it or another story that relates to it. Like David Shannon does that really well. He always starts off with an illustrative story and just captures your attention right away, and then builds on it.
Yeah. So that's the goal anyway. We'll see what comes out of it.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Fun just figuring I mean, everything from figuring out how to shoot things, how to do the lighting, what we're gonna put in. And that's the reason, again, why it'll take so long as well, because it's trying to perfect and craft something brand new that we've never done before. That makes it fun as well. And also trying to make sure that once this thing is done, that there's a major point that there's just a major point that comes across and that shines through easily.
Yeah.
And we're not going to put it out until
it's right.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way to put it.
Yep. Maybe we could even do a private screening so we can get some other people's ideas.
Hey.
That worked.
Pretty cool. Be a nice little get together. Be something totally different.
Yeah.
I got to write that down. I got my paper with me. Private screening. That would be cool. And you coming out with all kind of stuff. That's what we need to do is turn the cameras on and your brain starts going. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that, and that was one of the things, I don't know about you, but there may be something that comes up where I want to do a short form video, kind of like we've done in the past. If there's something I really want to throw out there that might be in the interim or something.
Sure. We can do that.
I don't know if we'll abandon it. I don't have anything right now. I just got to get out there. But every now and then stuff comes up and I think, I should have done a video about that. I should have something.
Yeah, and we can always do that.
Yeah.
Because we can do whatever we want to do.
That's right.
Yeah.
And play around with the format too.
Yeah.
Now, look, if you want to, I'm going to say this to them. If you want to, it would help. We don't have to have it. I mean, we've been operating on no budget, just a shoestring budget, as you would say. But still, you can go to the website. I don't know what we're going to do with that necessarily.
I'm still planning on kind of redoing it, simplifying it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it will take and it will help. And if you send and become like you can either make a one-time donation through PayPal, or you can become a patron through Patreon and still do what's the bottom level?
Oh, I think it's like
$2
a month or something. Yeah.
If you got $12 extra this year, or 24 extra dollars, my math's horrible. You can get me some math lessons, but $24 extra this year. So you can do that, or you can do like up to, what was it, 20 or 25?
Something like that.
Yeah. And if you subscribe, it's just going to help, and it gives us that much more resources. If not another dime comes in, we're still going to do this, and we're going to figure out a way, and it'll be still what we want it to be. But that money will help us to create better quality and give us a little more freedom.
Yeah.
Is that the best way to put it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Right.
Sounds like it.
Still follow us on Facebook. All of our old videos are still going to be up. That's one thing I wanted to do, is go back and look at all the titles again and all the thumbnails, create new playlists, and sort of fine tune what we already have.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is there? 300 and what I say, was it 301?
Is that right?
302, something like that. It wasn't an even number.
Oh,
by the time we released them all.
I got you. I thought we were short of 300. No, we're not, though.
No. I think this video makes like 301.
Weird.
Actually, I'll just look it up right now. Let's see.
Okay. Then we have to do 99 more.
Well, we have to do, I don't know. How do we look at that content? I don't know if this will tell me. No, this doesn't tell me how many there are.
Okay.
Shoot.
Where do you find that?
On the YouTube Studio website through computer. Yeah, it'll tell you.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was like one number off from being an even number. So
maybe if it's divisible by 7, that's biblical, right?
There you go.
Yeah. The other people I wanted to thank, I mentioned earlier, there have been a lot of people that I haven't even told you about who've come up to me and said, please, don't stop. We watch these even periodically. Thank you. for those comments and for that support. And we're not, when we first started, very first, I mean, we were trying to build a YouTube channel. It quickly became apparent.
We got that beat out of us fast.
That's the best way to put it. It quickly became apparent that if you want to build a YouTube channel, you got to do something dumb, immoral, or just dumb. You don't do it about Bible and truth. So this has nothing to do with growing a better channel. This just has to do with putting out better content that we're more invested in. Because I don't know how much longer we would have done the yada, 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 yada.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Anything else to say? We get it clear?
I think so. I think that's about everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we will be back probably. You'll see this video or hear this podcast. The next bit you get from us will probably be a 2.0 interview. I think Evan, my son, for those of you who don't know, is going to come on and we're going to have a father-son discussion that should be pretty interesting.
Yeah. Sounds like fun.
All right.
Cool. I think that's it.
Yeah. We'll see you soon.
All right.